Hey there, folks. Another new construction inspection today out here in Spicewood, Texas. Really nice house. Really like the way this one's built, how it's laid out. But we did find some things today, and so let's go cover a couple of those. So while it's not uncommon to see some masonry cracking at the tops of these lintels, or rather at the corners, there's a lintel here that supports that masonry. Here we don't have a lot of it, but we're already getting some pretty decent cracking. This house is maybe actually close to a year old or a little less. We've got some cracking in those stones at the top here. And then here in the corner, we've got some cracking and loose stones. But then we've got a substantial gap. I don't know if you can see it, but a really large gap between the trim and the stone up top. Another thing that's important when building these homes is we've got to tighten up and seal up the exterior. Although we do expect water or moisture to get through some of the masonry and maybe even the stucco, we want to protect that inner structure. So again, we do expect some water to get in there, but we want to mitigate that with weep holes, weep screed. But if we can just prevent the water from getting in the first place, that's key. So here where you have this trim meeting this masonry, any gaps there, water's just going to flow right in there. Again, any gaps where there's dissimilar materials, wood, mortar, here, and then here at the base of the window, those are all going to be water entry points. This house has a large ducted range exhaust fan. As you can see, there's no hood here at the exterior portion, and you can't tell from here, but that's actually blocked off in the middle. And when that fan's operated, it's blowing a lot of air out from between the cabinets and the fan. Again, mentioned that this did not have a proper termination to the exterior. The duct is there, but it's blocked off. It's missing a hood. And when we turn this on high, got a lot of air coming out between this unit and the cabinet here and over here. A lot of air. Okay, out here at the condenser unit for the AC system, one of the things we are lacking are tamper-resistant caps, refrigerant port caps. Now, technically, this refrigerant line insulation should also be protected from UV damage, but honestly, this is kind of here on the northeast side of the house. Big overhang, I'm probably not going to write that up. But I am going to make note that the max breaker on this unit is 25 amps. There's a 30 amp breaker in the main panel right now. And water heater, temperature pressure relief valve drain line. That's the larger CPVC pipe there in the back. That needs to terminate with a downward pointing elbow. That way, if that valve goes off, it's not going to eject water straight out and hit perhaps an HVAC contractor here working on the system. Okay, this is probably the catch for the day. This is the dryer exhaust vent. Yes, it is kind of close to the condenser unit. We might make that as an FYI. We don't want lint collecting on the coils, but it's a fair enough amount away. But the issue at hand is the duct for this dryer exhaust. If you look here, you can see that is a flexible mylar duct in there. And that does run within the wall. It goes about 2.5, 3 feet in to the wall and then exits at the dryer box within the laundry room. So that flexible duct is concealed within the wall, and that is a no-no. That has to be rigid metal duct only. Okay, here's the other part of that dryer duct. So again, that exterior side of that wall comes in and drops down. And as you can see, again, flexible ductwork within the wall. In addition to that, the box is kind of loose in there. It's not really installed well. So this is going to be a little tricky. They're going to probably have to cut out this drywall to get that duct rerouted. I doubt, even though it's a short run, they're going to be able to pull that flex duct out and feed in a rigid duct and then try to connect an elbow. It's just going to be tricky. They're just going to have to cut this out and figure out how to get a rigid duct in that wall. Another interesting thing about this house is in the attic here, and when we pull that down and go up, this is a spray foam attic system. So this is an encapsulated attic thermal barrier that goes up along the roof. So the attic is conditioned, if you will. There's no insulation on the drywall ceiling. It's all spray foam on the underside of the roof. When we have that, it's super critical that we get these exhaust fans, laundry room, bathrooms, that they're ducted directly to the exterior. They're going to end up coming out into a duct similar to what we have here on this other house, or I mean a vent hood. This one has dampered vent hoods. However, there's only 2 vent hoods on the roof. And after looking in the attic, this hall bathroom exhaust fan and one of the exhaust fans in the primary bathroom are both not terminating to the exterior. They're actually dumping their air into this encapsulated attic. And if there's one thing we don't want with a sealed attic system is the introduction of moist, humid, warm air. Okay, so now we're in this attic. See the bathroom exhaust fan right there, the duct connected to it. Well, that guy comes all the way over here. It's just dumping into the attic. They missed or did not connect their exhaust point. So this bathroom exhaust fan is venting into the sealed spray foamed attic. Speaking of ducts and airflow, this HVAC system, and pretty much most HVAC systems installed in units that are newer or within the last couple of years, all have some type of fresh air intake, fresh air ventilation intake, so that the system can, at periodic intervals, bring fresh air into the home to prevent kind of the stale air now that our homes are being built tighter and more efficient. This system, it's up in the attic. I don't have video of it. It was a little tight up there. But the fresh air intake on this system is coming from the roof vent down into the return air system. However, that roof vent, when I was up there, it has a damper on it. And that damper is for exhaust applications, not for intake. With that damper there, that vent's not going to bring in any air whatsoever. Beyond that, the duct was so close to the roof that when they spray foamed the roof, the underside of the roof, that damper in the fresh air return duct was just completely coated and covered with that spray foam insulation, no doubt rendering it inoperable. Just another thing, these little things that we come across. This light switch here controls this fan here. If we turn it back off, it turns off. I've actually wired this in with a 3-way. There's another switch here that was originally intended to also control this fan, but because of the addition of that other switch, this one doesn't really do anything, which is fine. That other switch controls it. But this is just kind of a wasted switch. Similar to that switch, we have another one here for the outdoor fan. However, if we turn that on, hit the light, hit the fan, absolutely nothing. So there's an issue with this switch communicating with this fan right now. And we're always going to have some hardware issues. So this door, when we lift up on that handle, it engages an upper and a lower latch here, which then allows us to then lock the deadbolt, and that handle will not work. Okay. Problem is, if we go to lift it, we don't get it all the way. We have to push the top of the door in order for that to engage. And then we can lock it, and it's not operable. But again, we have to push the top of that door to do so. Furthermore, these French doors for the study, we have a latch here. That engages a latch at the top, which keeps this door fixed. And then we can just simply close the adjacent door. Well, if we want them both open, we disengage this latch and open it. But the problem is it won't disengage. It's stuck, and this door will not open. We got the irrigation system running, but we don't have any flow at the meter for this house. No flow at the adjacent meter, and no flow at this meter at the other corner of the property. This also goes in hand with this. We've got the backflow preventer. These valves are off, but our system's still running. So this system must be pulling water from somewhere else. Are these things major deal killer issues? Not likely. Are they important? Sure, there's some of them that are, but they can be addressed. And I have no doubt that the builder, will get these items taken care of for my clients. But it just goes to show, just because it's new doesn't mean it's true. Get a home inspection, even on these new construction homes. It's worth the time, it's worth the expense, and it's going to save you a lot of headache down the road. Then, when it's all said and done, you can enjoy your wonderful view. So, call us at Guided Inspections and let us help you discover your new home.